He was sitting right next to me, so close that I could feel the warmth of his body, and yet I felt completely alone. Not because he wasn't there, but because his eyes were never on me. The phone was always in his hand, every day, every night. Even when the house was quiet, I tried not to notice at first. I told myself it was nothing, but silence has a way of getting louder. He scrolled while I spoke, nodded without listening, smiled at the screen while I waited for a reaction. Sometimes I stopped talking mid-sentence, just to see if he would notice. He never did. At night in bed, the glow of the screen filled the room. Blue light on his face, cold, distant. I turned my back to him, pretending sleep, pretending it didn't hurt. But it did. I started timing it without realizing. 5 minutes, 10, 30. The phone never rested, even when I reached for his hand. His fingers were busy elsewhere. I asked him to go out with me, just once. No phones, no noise. Just us. He looked annoyed, as if I had interrupted something important. That's when he raised his voice. "Why are you always complaining?" The room froze, not because he yelled, but because I suddenly understood something. I was asking for the bare minimum. He said I was exaggerating, that I was too sensitive, that I was the one addicted. I looked at the television, turned on, muted, ignored, just like me. I stopped asking after that. I stopped interrupting his scrolling, stopped waiting for eye contact. Instead, I adapted. I learned to sit quietly, to speak less, to disappear softly. Not because I wanted to, but because it was easier than being rejected again. The strange thing is, I still gave him my full attention. When he spoke, I listened. When he complained, I paused everything. My thoughts, my time, my needs. I was present. He never was. Sometimes I wondered if he even noticed me anymore, or if I had slowly become part of the furniture, always there, never seen. One night, I spoke softly. "I miss you." He didn't look up, didn't answer, just scrolled. That silence, that was the loudest moment of all. Sometimes the deepest neglect doesn't leave marks, only emptiness.
Ever felt this kind of loneliness within a relationship? Please take a second to subscribe. These stories are for you.
That night, something shifted inside me, not anger, not sadness, clarity. I realized I was shrinking myself to fit into a space. He no longer wanted to share, and that realization hurt, but it also woke me up. I stopped competing with a phone, stopped begging for attention, stopped explaining my pain, because love doesn't need to be explained to someone who truly cares. I looked at myself differently, not as someone too much, but as someone who deserved presence, real presence, not borrowed glances, between notifications. I didn't leave that night, not physically, but emotionally. I stood up, I reclaimed my voice, my time, my worth. Now, when he looks at his phone, I no longer wait, because I finally understood something powerful. Being alone is not the same as being abandoned, and staying where you are unseen is far more painful than standing on your own. This isn't the end of my story. It's the moment I stopped disappearing. And maybe the hardest part wasn't being ignored. It was realizing how quietly it happened. I didn't disappear all at once. I faded, one night at a time, one unanswered look, one conversation swallowed by a screen. I used to think love was about patience, about waiting, about understanding. But patience should never mean erasing yourself. I gave attention when I was tired. I listened when I wasn't heard. I showed up even when he stayed somewhere else. And one day, I noticed something shift. Not in him, in me. I stopped asking. I stopped shrinking. I stopped competing with a phone because love should look at you. And if it doesn't, you don't beg. You rise. You choose yourself, quietly, and you walk forward, knowing that your presence was never too much. It was simply given to the wrong place.